I hesitate to say this because I don't think there's anything else you can really add to Tom Brady's career and his accomplishments. But I think people's minds changed a lot about Tampa after Godwin went down. And it was like, okay, well, the assumption is AB's going to fill that and they're going to be okay. And wow, what a fortuitous thing to have Antonio Brown on your roster when you lose this guy. But Antonio Brown went down, and I think people were like, man, okay. He just lost, two significant talents, including guys that he really trusted. You probably argue, other than Gronk, Godwin, and AB were the guys he trusted most. He looks good with Evans. I'll tell you that. Like, Mike Evans sure as hell looked good. And, Gronk is Gronk. But do you feel like Tom, in a weird way, I keep going back to this, can Tom show something here?
But how many times have we seen it where he goes, I mean, he could put you and I out there and he would have a halfway decent chance. I mean, how many times have we seen him pull guys just out of the stands basically and turn them into all-world receivers? He did it all the time in New England. And that's not to say that it's an automatic plug-and-play situation, but there is something about Brady that the game slows down for him, that he's able to find those opportunities, find those targets. Now, the question is whether those receivers are going to be able to get open, whether they're going to be able to handle their end of the deal. But yeah, I mean, Brady has an ability to elevate the level of his receiving core like nobody else that we've ever seen.
Down the stretch, when there was this conversation about Rodgers and Brady, and when you would listen to teams separate the two, a head coach, said to me, literally, he goes, Aaron Rodgers got one guy. He's got Davante Adams. He's like, everybody else, you take those guys and scatter them around the league on other teams, they're just kind of spare parts guys. They're not like, hey, fantastic 2s or 3s or whatever. They're just guys. He basically was just like, it's clearly Rodgers, not even a question, because of how he elevates all these pieces around him. And it was interesting. He said to me, play the free agency game. And that was pretty interesting. He said, take Aaron Rodgers' top 3 receivers this year in terms of yardage, take the Buccaneers' top 3 receivers this year and put them all in free agency. So what happens? He says there's a feeding frenzy for the Tampa guys, all of them. He said with Rodgers, you would have 31 other teams jumping in trying to sign Davante Adams if they could. He said, but then when you get to the next tier, it's like 3. It's like they might be interested in bringing in a body, a guy who can be okay, fill out depth. So I guess my question for you is, this is like kind of Tom's chance to show, hey, I can elevate all these other guys. It's not just, hey, Tom's got everything. It's he's got Mike Evans and Gronk, and he's going to have to come up with that 3rd and 4th really valuable piece that it's going to take to beat the Rams. That's going to take to potentially beat, Green Bay or whoever moving forward. And then if you get the Super Bowl, a good AFC offense, he has his sort of retort in the MVP conversation that, hey, I can also, just like I did in New England, continue to raise pieces. It's not the pieces, it's me. I'm the one who does it.
But I know what you're saying. I know if in a 1-to-1 matchup, yes, you would probably take Tampa Bay's receivers, going, if it were a fantasy draft, the Tampa Bay's receivers are going to go earlier. So here's a question. Let's turn it around. If Brady has a bad game for Brady, which obviously is better than most games, if Brady has a bad game, can Tampa Bay still win?
No way. I don't see it.
It's tough,
It's really hard for me to believe that. It's the same as like Green Bay. You take Rodgers away from Green Bay. We've seen, what does Green Bay look like? They lose to the Chiefs and the offense looks horrific. I like Arians, like he's a good coach and everything. I just don't see you taking that guy off that roster in a playoff game against obviously a very good team and seeing them having any chance to win.